Casey's is a premier garden center and gift shop located in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Casey's offers a wide selection of plants, landscaping materials, home and garden decor, and gifts for every occasion. Casey's is committed to providing exceptional service, a unique shopping experience, and value to every customer. Stop in and see what makes Casey's so unique. Located at 21481 State Line Road, Lawrenceburg, Indiana, or call 812-537-3800. Let Casey's help you add beauty to your home. Welcome to Strong Dads. Hey, this is Merle Hutchinson coming to you guys again with our summer series, The Parables of the Son. And we are just continuing along in our series and talking all things parables. Parables being the stories that Jesus Christ used to help explain and teach the ways of and the nature of God and how God desires us to live in a certain way. And so these parables are just that connection to us that never seem to go out of date, right? They don't go out of style. They always have a relevant lesson to us. You know, there's an old saying about in means and matters of style, you just go with the flow. But in matters of principle, you stand like a rock. And so that's what these parables are about. Like, these are all principles of which we don't change them based off of the style of the day. They are things that when Christ teaches them, he's like, pay attention. This is how things roll in God's nature. And so we really want to work to incorporate what it would mean to us to take the lesson and incorporate it into our present day or current day living and lifestyle. So anyway, that's what this is about. And so today we are going to be running into the parable of the returning owner. The day and the hour are unknown. So this is going to be out of Mark 13:32 through 37. And a little disclaimer, I'm never claiming to be a theologian of any sort. These are just me taking the nuggets of information out of these parables and seeing how I can maybe practically apply them, thoughts that come to my mind. And I'd like to hear what the thoughts are in your mind. So it's not a matter of whether we get it necessarily perfectly right as much as we go, how does this apply to me? All right. So with that being said, let's take some time to thank our sponsors. We want to thank Quality Auto Mart and Casey's Outdoor Solutions for coming alongside of the Strong Dads podcast. So thanks to those guys and the support that they give us and the allowing us really to just put these messages out. Hopefully you find them helpful. All right. So let's get right into the parable. So I want to read the parable like I've been reading on all of these, just because some of these you've heard, I'm sure, but I just want to make sure that you and I are talking and hearing the same words in our discussion today, okay? So this is Mark 13:32 through 37, and it says, starts with a title of The Day and Hour Unknown. But about that day or hour, no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. Be on guard, be alert. You do not know when that time will come. It's like a man going away. He leaves his house and puts his servants in charge, each with their assigned task, and tells the one at the door to keep watch. Therefore, keep watch, because you do not know when the owner of the house will come back, whether in the evening or at midnight or when the rooster crows or at dawn. If he comes suddenly, do not let him find you sleeping. What I say to you, I say to everyone, watch. All right, what in the heck does this thing mean, right? What does this mean? Well, Bible days of 2,000 plus years ago, we've always talked about, in scriptures, we talked about the coming of the Messiah, the end times, when will life or earth as we know it end? And so, in every generation, people have talked about the idea of, this whole world's going to come to an end, and it feels like it's coming sooner rather than later. And this is nothing new. But here we are rolling thousands of years later, and we're still wondering, well, when's this going to happen? And the point is nobody knows. Nobody knows when the end is coming, whether it's the end through some sort of catastrophic explosion or meteor hitting the earth, or whether it's in some other fashion that God has fashioned and designed that we don't even have a clue of what it looks like. But here is the point. Nobody knows. And so when you don't know, like, how are you living your life? How are you living your life in a way that if it all ended today, you would be in good standing with God the Creator, with His way, all right? And so this is all making some assumption here, and the assumption is that you have bought into His way. Because if you don't buy into His way, you might I'm going to live for today. I don't really care. I'll just do my own thing. And again, that's your thinking. But God is the Creator, and ultimately His plan prevails. And we believe that the Word describes all kinds of things, awesome things like grace and mercy, but also truth and justice and judgment. And so these are they can't be just separated out. They're all real things. At least that's what we believe as Christians. And so part of this is man, I certainly want the grace and the mercy of Christ. But I also need to understand that there's going to be some judgment and possibly some very severe judgment for how I either put God's nature aside and replace it with my own, or maybe I just even ignore it or become ignorant about it. So anyway, there's some things that come to my mind here. The first one is procrastination. Procrastination is, it comes to my mind because I'm pretty good at it. I have no problem putting off till tomorrow what could be done on today, and it's not a trait that I'm particularly fond of, but I also know that it's pretty common. It's pretty common that we like to do what we want to do in the moment. Whether I'm going to seek my own pleasure, seek my own comfort, or the work is just something I'm not interested in, I'll put it off. And Satan loves this part. He absolutely loves it because he wants to feed our flesh. He wants us to get our desire of the moment. And in so doing, it often is so attractive that the work or the things that I would do that are more of God's nature aren't quite as attractive in the moment. And so procrastination just breeds itself. And so the first thing that comes to mind is, being aware and being watchful is how much I have procrastinated. And I'll just put things off. We've talked about the whole deathbed confessions, when somebody's put it off, the confession of knowing Christ and taking Christ as their Savior. And, life's too much fun. I'm just going to keep doing my own thing until at the last moment when I'm on my deathbed. I'll say, yeah, I know Him. And we have to remember that it's up to Christ to judge. Jesus Christ is called to be the judge in the final day. And so maybe He gives a pass because maybe He knows the heart. And maybe He says, you know what? Yeah, your deathbed confession is all I need to hear. But maybe He says, I never knew you. Don't be claiming me now. It's a little too late for you. You have disregarded everything of my way all through your life when you've had plenty of opportunity to come to me. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? I think it's important to know the messaging of the world in this scenario. Satan is the ruler of the earth, of the earthly ways. And so you've heard phrases before and songs have been written about it and stuff. And it's kind of like this whole idea of live for today, live as if you were dying. You only life is short. It only happens once. So take total advantage of whatever it is that you can in today. And I think we have to be really careful here of what that means in relationship to our understanding of our flesh versus God's nature and His desire for us. And so that's another thing that comes to my mind. How often do I just go with my flesh in the moment? Because life is short and I only get to live once. And so I want to check my bucket list to please me. How about this? Another thing comes to mind, like if I'm having to be watchful. Wouldn't we live differently if we knew our day and our time? Things about like, having your ducks in a row, having all of your work in order, whether it be, okay, my family's taken care of. You see this sometimes when people find out that maybe they have a terminal sentence through cancer that they have. And, they find out they maybe have 3-6 months and they get their life in order. They do that financially. They do it maybe with their family. Maybe they do it with God. All right. But if you didn't know when that final day was, would you have your ducks in a row? Would you have your life in order? Or would you be found things to be in disarray? And I would be guilty there as well. All right. Another thing that comes to my mind is, man, it's time for me to clean out some of the junk. Some of the junk in my life. Junk means things that just keep me from not moving forward towards God. These are distractions. Man, I'm so good at getting easily distracted. Social media is great at it. The news of the day is great at it. Piddly things that maybe I can concern myself with certain projects or whatever. And when you all of a sudden you look back, you're like, what did I really spend my day doing? And so sometimes there's just a lot of junk that keeps us from being watchful of keeping the main thing. So that's something that comes to mind. All right. I don't know. I just challenge you to think about it. Are you living today for your God purpose? And if you don't know what your God purpose is, then that is a study within itself of knowing how and why he made you, and then how you use that to serve his kingdom and others in his kingdom. And so are we pursuing that? And I think just the mere pursuit of that, of living in his purpose and not our purpose, making sure our purpose is aligned with his purpose, I think those are some things that can help us with this parable. So anyway, those are just my thoughts. I'd like to hear yours. Again, this is just about the learning process and hopefully digging a little bit deeper into God's word and seeing how it connects to you. All right. I want to thank my sponsors again. I want to thank the Quality Auto Mart, as well as Casey's Outdoor Solutions. I want to thank those guys for helping us out. And if you have any questions or anything that I could help you with, just as a Strong Dads coach, please feel free to reach out. You can get me at hutch@rocksolidfamilies.org, or you can check out what we are doing here at Rock Solid Families at the website that we have, rocksolidfamilies.org. So that's all I got for you. Get out there. Let's make it a great day and keep being the strong dads you were meant to be.
Strong Dads wants to thank Quality Auto Mart for joining us as a sponsor. Quality Auto Mart was born in 1985. They are owned and operated by Mark and Nancy Repke. Quality Auto Mart provides all the services, repairs, and maintenance for your vehicle's needs, with a 3-year auto parts and labor warranty. They offer complimentary vehicle safety inspection and estimates. Also, they offer a shuttle service, and the 4th oil change is always on them. They are located at 7307 on State Road 46 in Batesville, Indiana. Make sure you give them a call at 812-934-2301.